Hey guys, it's Danny. Today I'm gonna show you 10 absolutely fabulous orchids which do not have a scent. Slightly weird for my channel. If you know me, you know that I just love fragrance. Perfumes, scented candles, scented orchids, I love them. I love the smell of orchids and my collection revolves around scented orchids. However, there are some orchids which are absolutely phenomenal, I love them, which don't have any type of fragrance. And one of you guys actually suggested that I put together a video in which I show some non-scented alternatives for those people who do have a scent sensitivity and would much rather prefer something that doesn't have a scent. So I'll show you 10 of them today, which I really love. I'm thinking this list will be permanently updated. And all of these orchids don't actually have any detectable fragrance. They will not fill the room, they will not make you sick or anything of the sort. They're just very, very safe orchids. And if they smell like something, they might smell a little bit like grass or leaves or something of the sort because they are plants. Before we start though, I'll mention that I will be ignoring the elephant in the room, and this is Phalaenopsis orchids. The vast majority of them that you find at flower shops have no perfume whatsoever, nothing that could actually make you sick, and there are so many hybrids available that all you need to do is just go to the flower shop or garden center, see something you really like, and most probably it will have no scent whatsoever. So I'm not going to show any of these hybrids today because there are just too many of them. I will show, however, other varieties, other species, which are even cooler in my opinion. First orchid, let's start with a Vandaceous orchid. This is the queen of them all in my opinion, Vanda sanderiana, or you want the sanderiana. Not entirely sure what the correct name is nowadays, not that I even care. But this is a species, it's not a hybrid, and it's not freely available at the flower shop. You will need to find an orchid nursery for it. However, I believe it's absolutely worth it. The flowers are huge, the color and patterns is out of this world. There are multiple varieties. We have a alba version as well, which is white and green, and there is absolutely no detectable perfume coming from the flowers of this orchid. Even if it's a species, it just takes the very same care as any other Vanda hybrid that I own. I do have a video, I'll link it down below in the description if you want to learn more about Vanda orchids. They're pretty easy to keep. They're just very, very big orchids. However, the flowers of the sanderiana are big as well, and whenever this orchid is in bloom, it makes a statement. I do believe it blooms once a year only. There are hybrids which bloom multiple times a year, such as the Pachara, which are non-scented either, but I do consider that this orchid is just better. You cannot really beat that wonderful butterfly-like flower. Next amazing non-scented orchid is the Epicattleya Rene Marques Flamethrower. This is altogether one of my favorite orchids because it's just so wild. The flowers have amazing, vivid and well-defined colors. We have vivid green, vivid yellow, very hot pink, all in one flower, and on top of everything the flowers just look out of this world. They don't have the typical orchid shape, if there is such a thing. Again, no detectable fragrance, and I do actually have a care tutorial for this orchid. You will find it in the description. For all of these orchids, you'll have names and further information, so if you're interested, just check the description. The only downside that I see with this orchid is the size. She is quite tall, since we do have epidendrums in her parentage, but also slightly unruly. As it ages, it will create multiple directions of growth. This is what you want, because this is how you'll get a lot of flowers and flower spikes, but also it means that you need to allocate quite a bit of space for this orchid. I tried to tame it a little bit with a ring support. No, it's not gonna work. This is a pretty big orchid, and to be honest, it's just so beautiful that I don't mind giving it a lot of space. It's actually a pretty easy to care for orchid, but it does need highlight. It's a Cattleya hybrid, so if you can grow Cattleyas, you can grow this orchid as well. Next orchid is not this one, this is just a look-alike. I don't have that particular orchid anymore. I'm referring to the Psichopsis orchids. They are out of this world beautiful. The flowers are just alien looking. Some people say they look like robots, other people think a sort of insect. Again, you'll find more information in the description. I used to own this orchid, it's easy to care for, I have a tutorial. Problem is, I lost mine when I moved here and when I lost a lot of the orchids in my collection due to fusarium. My particular hybrid was called Mariposa, but there are other hybrids and even species that look very, very similar, almost identical. There isn't much variety when it comes to coloration and shape, so whatever Psichopsis you choose, it will look almost identical with other Psichopsis. The only thing that orchid really likes is moisture. And I did not provide enough moisture when I moved here due to complications, so I lost mine, and the only reason I didn't repurchase it is because it's not very cheap. It is kind of the same price as a Vanda orchid. I postponed it because it's not fragrant and because it's expensive, but at some point I will purchase it again. However, do check it out. It's absolutely incredible, and on top of everything, it's a sequential bloomer. Each flower spike can last a few years. Another orchid that I don't have anymore, it's not this one, we're just looking at the Moscombe because she's pretty, is the Cattlianthe Rojo. That was my very first ever Cattleya orchid, and I purchased it blindly without an ID. I didn't know what to expect, how it looked like, and when it finally bloomed, oh my goodness, such a beautiful red Cattleya. Now, generally Cattleyas are known to be fragrant, and if you buy a hybrid, chances are it's gonna be fragrant. But there are some hybrids which have in their parentage the former Lelias, nowadays Cattleyas, so you cannot really tell the difference, hence why I don't really care about the new reclassification. I want the old names because I can explain their features. If we're gonna call everybody a Cattleya, what are we doing, you know? I'm sorry, I digress. Anyway, that one was a Lelia hybrid. And these types of orchids that have this really star-shaped flower with thin petals, these ones usually don't have a scent. And the Rojo does not smell like anything, but it's incredible. It can create multiple flowers in one inflorescence. I think it's an Aurantiaca hybrid, which I have, but sadly I lost it again when I moved here. One of the very few Cattleyas that I lost actually, it did not bounce back from fusarium, and I've been looking for it ever since because it is truly a masterpiece hybrid, but it's not a very common hybrid. So if you guys ever see it, definitely get it. If you know you like red, you know you cannot stand fragrances, that's the orchid for you. It's not a tall orchid, it's not very rambly, it's pretty well behaved, and I think you're gonna have a great time with it. If it's healthy, it's vigorous, and the blooming just makes up for everything. Next up, Sophronitis orchids. Nowadays they're called Cattleyas, but again, it's not gonna help us if we call them like that. Sophronitis are Cattleya type orchids which remain very tiny, and they produce wonderful red-orange flowers. There are some direct hybrids which look wonderful as well. I'm showing you my Cattleya Chester, which is currently recovering. I'll get to that. The Sophronitis generally don't like as much heat, as much bright light, as much dryness as typical Cattleyas. They prefer things a little bit more intermediate and a little bit more moist. Reason why my particular hybrid is recovering. Did not enjoy the LECA. One of the few Cattleyas which didn't enjoy it. If you're a beginner with orchids, I would suggest going for a hybrid of the Sophronitis, not necessarily the species, because it will be just a little bit taller, just a little bit flashier perhaps, and maybe easier to grow in a typical home. Although I don't think these orchids are hard to grow, but definitely they deserve a mention because they give this wonderful color to many Cattleya hybrids, and the species themselves are just gorgeous. Tiny miniature Cattleya orchids without any type of fragrance. Next up, we have the reed stem epidendrums, or the radican hybrids and varieties. There are many hybrids and species on the market, all of them having beautiful colors which can vary. I have a pink one here, but I also have an orange one, a reddish one, a yellow one. You can find a lot of colors with these orchids, and bonus, they're easy to care for, suitable for warm climates and warm weather. I grow mine outside in the heat, they absolutely love it. And you guessed it, they have absolutely no fragrance, so you can keep them in the house as well. Even if they really like heat and warmth, definitely they grow absolutely fine and beautiful and vigorous in the house as well. I do have a few which are recovering in the growth space, and they grow beautifully. Again, check the description for a detailed care tutorial on these orchids. The downside, the major downside of these orchids is the size. They are big, big, big orchids. Hence why I want to preserve some space in the growth space, and I'm just putting them outside because they look like garden orchids. They're extremely, extremely tall. They do have beautiful 3D-like inflorescence, like a globe. They are sequential bloomers as well. I had an initial inflorescence here, and here I have 2 secondary spikes actually. So they can do that, but they take up a lot of space. I just find them really, really pretty though. Next up, Bulbophyllums, but not just any of them. Many Bulbophyllums actually smell foul. So the one that I can recommend you today, I think is the most beautiful of them all. This is the Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry that has a flower spike. This orchid has the most unique flowers I've ever seen. They're so elegant, so nice, and they don't smell. I guess with this one you can say it smells grassy or vegetation if you really stick your nose into the flower, but it's not perfumey, and it's definitely not filling up the room. There is a little downside with this orchid as well. It's not going to be a downside for everybody, but it has a crawling nature. So at some point, it will start to grow out of the pot. Hence why for these types of orchids, we usually go for shallow pots, which are wide, but not so deep. Even so, you can see that mine is already threatening to grow outside of the pot, so I need to do something about it. In the back here, these are very, very old growths that will most probably lose their leaves. That's okay. I am thinking of tidying up a little bit this orchid. So with this one, there is a continuous struggle to maintain it in the pot, if that's how you grow your orchids. If you can grow them mounted and offer water as frequent as this orchid needs, everything is okay. I cannot do that, so I need to pot it. And it's always a struggle to maintain it in the pot, but I do believe the flowers are worth it. They're just out of this world, and I absolutely love it. It's an easy grower as well. It's not a fussy orchid. It doesn't require a lot of light. It just likes water. So I can definitely recommend it even for intermediate to beginner growers. Next up, Paphiopedilum orchids in general. Most of them are not scented. There are only a few which have a scent. The Paphiopedilum delinati is one that is known to have a fragrance. Other than that, most of them smell like nothing at all. So I will point out the most common hybrids. These are the American hybrid and the Maudier type, which can be green or have a nice reddish color. You can find these guys at the flower shop as well from time to time, and they have absolutely no fragrance at all. Again, you'll have more information about Paphiopedilums in the description. There are multiple types of paphs, multiflorals, sequential bloomers. The family is very, very diverse. But since we do have a few paphs on the market which appear from time to time and are easily available, you can rest assured that they have no fragrance. I don't believe somebody will put a delinati in a flower shop, so don't worry about that. And if you've never owned a slipper orchid, well, they're wonderful. They don't like a lot of light, they don't require tremendous amounts of work to keep them happy. They do like their water, they're semi-terrestrial or even terrestrial, some of them. So a little research will do no harm, but definitely I think they're very, very charming and they have no fragrance generally. Next up, the so-called jewel orchids. These are the Ludisias, maybe the Macodes as well, but in flower shops you'll most probably find the Ludisia from time to time. This is an orchid that is mainly kept for its foliage, not flowers. It also blooms and it does have pretty cute flowers. To me they're nothing special, but I do know people that really, really like the flowers. They do have a hint of a sort of a smell, but it's not perfume. It's not something that goes into the air and kicks you out of the room. This is what I understand by being bothered by a perfume. If it smells a little bit like something, if you stick your nose into it, that's a whole different story. And the Ludisia sometimes can have a smell of something grassy, something green. However, it's not powerful and I don't think it will make anybody sick. But if you happen to find that there is a fragrance and you dislike it, just cut the flower spike and enjoy the foliage. Keep this orchid for the foliage because it's worth it. It's an easy grower. It is, however, a terrestrial orchid. Again, check the description for more information. It is not like your typical Phalaenopsis, and the bigger it gets, the more beautiful it gets. As I was saying, nobody says that you need to keep the flower spikes, which happen once a year. It doesn't even bloom all that frequent, but generally, I don't think there will be a scent that will bother you there. And I do believe the leaves are absolutely worth it. And lastly, my little queen. This is the Renanthera monachica, which is such a wonderful orchid. It's one of those orchids that I've always wanted to have. I had an individual which was sick and I tried to revive it for 4 or 5 years and it didn't work out. I got myself a new one and behold, she's growing vigorous. The flowers are out of this world. They are yellowish with really nice red or orange dots. It's beautiful. This is again one of those that if you really want to find a scent, you will find a scent. You have to stick your nose into the flower and you will find a sort of cucumbery vegetation type of scent once again, but it's not gonna fill the room, it's not gonna bother you, I believe. So if you really want to nitpick, you'll find something probably with this orchid, but it's not perfume, it's just plant smell in my opinion. And I just believe this plant is worth it. Did you see the flowers? Again, I have a more detailed tutorial down below in the description. There are other Renantheras as well, to my knowledge. They're not scented either. There's the citrina as well, which has the color of lemons, but not the fragrance of lemons. It's not scented either. So Renantheras generally are not known to have a scent. I think they're safe orchids to get if you're bothered by scents. They're just wonderful. And that's about it for my non-fragrant orchids list. Of course, this list will continuously be updated because I will always have new orchids. I will always have something to mention and to recommend. Thank you for suggesting this topic. And if you guys have other topics in mind for lists or tops or things of the sorts, do let me know in a comment down below. I'd be more than happy to do these lists and recommendations. And speaking about perfume, I know that if you're watching this video, most of you are not interested in perfume, but oh my goodness, you guys, I found a perfume finally that smells like an orchid, like the Phalaenopsis bellina. I am thinking about that perfume for the past week. I'm gonna go get it because I just want it for a week. So I'll tell you more about it when I purchase it. But yeah, I always thought I could find perfumes that smell like orchids, but no, orchids smell truly unique. Anyway, so that's about it for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. You know the drill. Like or dislike this video below. Subscribe to my channel for regular orchid videos, tutorials, Q&As, and other fun orchid subjects. And if you want to support the channel, do consider visiting the merch store down below. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!